My name is Ed, I'm 15 years old and I'm from Great Britain. I have bronchiectasis of the middle right lobe and I was diagnosed at the age of 8, meaning that I've had my diagnosis for 7 years. However, it's not always been as good as it is now. When I was younger, I didn't have a diagnosis and I was still ill, which really didn't help, especially as without a diagnosis it was very hard to get treatment for me outside of my consultant, as no one knew what was wrong with me. I initially started showing symptoms, so wheezing and coughing, at the age of 5 months old, and it took 7.5 years from that point for me to get diagnosed by my lovely consultant who works in Oxford. We have had, as a family, a lot of troubles trying to get this diagnosis. We've been told by one doctor that I would grow out of my condition by the age of 7 or 8, but that hasn't happened. I still got bronchiectasis now and I'm 15 years old, I'm double that age that he said I'd grow out of it by. And also we had another one who just wasn't interested in seeing me and caring for me because he was just interested in cystic fibrosis and that was it. Thankfully, due to the work that my parents have done, we've been able to get this diagnosis and persevere through. I don't really remember much from when I was young, but what I do remember especially is being told off by my parents for describing my cough as stupid. So they banned the word in the house because I used it to describe my cough all the time. So I decided to create a new word, toot, to describe my cough, which also got banned because I felt my cough was stupid. And at nursery at the time, which was the time this happened, everyone was going, "Oh, your cough's stupid," not in a bullying way, but in a way that was just a bit annoying to me, so I decided to use the same words to describe my own cough. When I was young, one of the things that I remember was that I couldn't go outside and play football and rugby in the winter like most of the kids my age, because I used to wheeze whenever I used to go out in the cold air. It was a thing that I had to deal with, unfortunately, but it did set me back slightly compared to my other peers who were doing those sports, but I was able to do other sports like swimming and squash, which led me to stay active while not having to expose myself to those conditions which were causing me to wheeze. It's a bit demoralising because I don't have cystic fibrosis. I'm very happy not to have cystic fibrosis, but because I don't, it's almost as if they can't do as much with me treatment-wise because there isn't the research or the funding into bronchiectasis as there is cystic fibrosis, which is a good thing, I guess, because there's less people with bronchiectasis, but still there's not enough funding for people like me to have the treatment and diagnosis that they need. Dealing with bronchiectasis now is different to how I dealt with it when I was younger. Now that I've got my diagnosis, I'm able to do my physio in a more free way for me. Running, cycling, playing the trumpet. Playing the trumpet has provided me with lots of opportunities. It's let me continue to do my physio, which I need to do to keep me healthy. Because one of the things that I really didn't like when I was younger, when I used things like the a cappella for physio, was that the fact that it took time away from being able to do things, whereas doing the trumpet I can still do my physio but also be active. I can be with my friends, I can make music, and that's something that I found has really helped me. But I'm not able to do everything like my peers. There's some things that I just can't do because it's not wise for me to do it, but for others it may be okay. Things like camping in the damp, in the cold, are things that I just can't do. I did it once in year 3 at the age of 7 or 8, and I was ill after for around 9 months. My parents thought that I might not sometimes make it through the night because of the noises that I was making in my sleep. One of the ways that we've found to keep me healthy is to keep me active. So I run, I cycle, I play cricket in the summer, and all those things help with bringing up mucus that's on my chest. Also, I sleep on a wedge, which helps so that all the mucus doesn't drain from my lungs and wake me up in the night. He took months and years even looking at different tests and looking at x-rays that were taken when I was younger that showed an abnormality on my chest, but it hadn't been taken up by the radiologists or consultants that had looked at those scans and come to a decision on it. But yet he could see from just looking at it quickly that there was a problem there and it just hadn't been recognised. That was hard for us because the answers had been right there in front of the doctors, but they just hadn't picked it up. In the future, I hope to go into the field of medicine, whether that be as a doctor or as a pharmacologist or some other medical professional, because I really want to make sure that no child or adult ever has to go through what I've gone through and what my family have gone through to get a diagnosis and treatment. I also want people to understand through this that things will get better and there are steps you can take to make your life easier. I hope that what I've said can help anyone who has bronchiectasis with knowing that they're not alone and that the symptoms they have can and will hopefully get better in the future.